Hello students, good evening to all. Welcome to the Point Geography Optional for UPSC CSE Mains. Now this video is all about the brainstorming session for the previous year question paper asked in Economic Geography. Now the question was, how far do the patterns of economic development and human development correspond with each other? Illustrate it with examples. The question was asked in 1999. Same question was asked in 2000 also, except the fact that they have specifically asked highlight situations of departure. Now to begin with, students who are watching this must have some basic understanding before we proceed further. Okay. Now let us go to the brainstorming part. Now the question is, do the pattern of economic development and human development correspond with each other? Okay. See here. This is a question. Do the pattern correspond? Okay, yes or no. It can be anything. That has to be brainstormed. Okay. For the question, you start with the intro. What is economic development and human development? Then you go straight into the topic that yes, they do correspond with each other. That is, high economic development leads to or correspond with high human development, and low economic development corresponds with low human development. If so, you must illustrate with examples. Okay. If it is yes, you must give examples. I am just telling the approach. Let us see the answer in detail at a later part. Now then you must write the anomaly also, that they don't correspond. The anomalies are nothing but high economic development might have or associated with low human development also, and high human development might have low economic development also. That is an anomaly. Okay. So two situations of correspondence and two situations of anomalies. This you must write. Then you conclude it with your own idea. Okay. Now to begin with, you must write what is economic development. What is economic development? Economic development is nothing but economic growth with improved quality of life for all the humans, as well as improved socio-economic structure in a country. Okay. There are various definitions available for the economic development, but the quality of life is very important term that must accompany with the development. Okay. If economic growth comes up with the quality of life, then it means economic development. What is human development? Human development, Amartya Sen has given the definition that it is an expansion of human capabilities. Okay, expansion of human capabilities. Now, human development you must study because it is a part of your syllabus in perspectives in human geography in section B of paper 1. Okay, you must read about human development report published by United Nations. Okay. Now, to begin with, you must put diagram. Okay. You must put diagram for correspondence as well as lack of correspondence. See, just a rough diagram. Okay. Now you have so many islands. Just a rough diagram. Okay. Now you can mark wherever there is high economic development as well as high human development. Okay. Which is it can be seen here. Okay. Usually high economic development and high human development is present in all the Western countries, you can say, as well as in Europe, because of so many reasons which we will see further. Okay, these are all the places which has high human development as well as high economic development, and low economic development as well as low human development. That can be seen in which places? You can say almost all parts of Africa except for example Nigeria, you can leave it. Okay, this will come under anomaly. This will come under anomaly. Okay, most parts of Africa, South Asia, okay, that will have low economic development as well as human development, and also Latin America. Okay, now why is it so? Because high human development and high economic development. Why? Because they have attained fourth stage of demographic transition, isn't it? Demographic transition theory, they have attained fourth stage, which has low population, which is stable. They have attained good socioeconomic development. Okay, they have very large or highly industrialized. They are highly industrialized. Okay, they have so much of agri surplus. They have huge, export capacity. Okay, then they have basically good human capital. The investment in human capital is high. Okay, these are all the reasons which might lead these countries to have high human development as well as economic development. Okay, now let us see the low economic development as well as low human development. The best case study for this you can take is Africa. Both are low. They are in demographic transition second stage, which is population explosion stage. Though there are minor variations, of course, largely they are in the stage which is population explosion stage. See, as you move further in demographic transition, this is your demographic transition. If you move along this scale, then your socioeconomic conditions will improve. Take any country. The higher you are in demographic transition stage, you will have high socioeconomic conditions. Why? You have high education, you have high urbanization, you have low mortality, and all this will lead to good socioeconomic development. So since Africa is in demographic transition second stage, there is a population explosion, and for that its economic development as well as human development is very less. Okay, and it is also true that the country which exports large amount of raw material is usually in underdeveloped state, or at least in the developing state. It's not a developed state. Okay, so the percentage of natural resources in your export, percentage of natural resources in your export is high in Africa. Okay, and if you take these countries, the Australia, Canada, USA, Okay, for all these countries, the percentage of natural resources in the export balance is very low. Okay, this is the second point. So this is the first point, this is the second point. The third point is, you can write it from the perspectives. See here, in demographic second stage, there is a population explosion. You link it with Malthus theory. In Malthus, if you have overpopulation, positive checks will happen, and that would deprive the human development in Africa. Now you can see the Marxist perspectives also. Marxist perspective says ineffective distribution of resources, okay, lead to this kind of low human development as well as economic development. So as per Marxist perspective, you have written, see, whatever I'm telling, I'm trying to be more geographical. Okay, you cannot write very common point across all your answers, though some common points must be added. You must write it in such a way that it has a geographical words. Okay, you write as per Malthus perspective, you write as per Marxist perspective. Now it is also true that due to conflict, you have poor economic development as well as human development. Okay, for example, you can take the example of South Sudan. Both South Sudan and Sudan have so much of resources, but they still not able to develop their economy to its fullest potential because of the rift between the Sudan and South Sudan over the control of oil resources present over there. Okay, and you can say the historical factors with the colonial legacy which continue to pull down the countries which have not been performing well. Okay, now this is all about the low economic development as well as low human development. Now let us go straight into the anomaly. Now anomaly, let us first see high economic development but low human development. Which countries are under this category? The best case study can be your Middle East. Middle East countries is the best case study. Why? See, in Middle East, the reason for high economic development and low human development, high economic development, they have oil resources which literally fueled their economy for so many decades. Okay, so they earned so much of foreign exchange. Okay, but the low economic development, the low human development, why? It is because of the role of religion in public affairs. The role of religion in public affairs is still high. That is, you can say, lack of secularization. That is, the impact of religion in public affairs has not come down, which impacts the participation of women in economy. So the participation of women is low. So the woman empowerment is not there. Okay, it is low. See, this secularization is mentioned in your perspectives topic. I have linked it. Religion also mentioned in your perspectives. Okay. Now, poor human development is because of participation of women is low. And as per IMF, when woman is not participating in an economy, it will not reap its full benefits. Okay. The third thing is The religion controls, again, the religion controls the population. So despite having high economic development, the population is still high. The total fertility rate for the Middle East countries largely above 2.1, which is a replacement rate of population. The next thing is that we have seen 1, 2, okay, 3, 4. Now the fifth point is lack of diversification of economy. Lack of diversification of economy. Now, even if you have good economic development in times of prospects, whenever there is any disruption to your economy, everything will be fallen down unless you diversify it. The best case study that you can give here is Venezuela. Venezuela, which is present in South America. Venezuela is largely dependent upon oil. Now, whenever the global oil prices went down, Venezuela has been struggling with inflation, political instability, current account deficit, and whatnot. There were so many issues with Venezuela because they haven't diversified it. And whenever there is sanction in Venezuela also, it hampered their whole economy and human development. So lack of diversification also leads to poor economic development despite having high economic development. Poor human development despite having high economic development. And the next thing is, you can say the common points, the corruption, inequality, which is all a common point, just to add up your points. Okay, so this is your last point. Then we just move on to the next anomaly number 2, that is high human development but low economic development. Now the countries belong to this category are Cuba, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. There are so many. Bhutan. How? Let us see the reasons. Why their human development and economic development does not correspond to each other. Now they have high human development. Why? Before to begin with, they have low economic development because their economic size is low. Okay, their population is relatively low. They have less number of, let's say, primate cities. Those who read about settlement geography, they must know the primate city, which has a larger influence. And there's a specific case inside the primate city, which is a world city or global city, or you can say megalopolis. The number of cities are very less, or either absent or very less, so which leads to low economic development. Now, why high economic development? Because their investments in human capital is high. Okay, their protection to vulnerable people is high. You can take the example of Bangladesh self-help group through Grameen Bank. Okay, so this is for your Bangladesh. I have just given the example. If you have any other example, you can quote that also. The next thing is they have good environmental as well as cultural protection. Example, Bhutan. Bhutan has devised gross national happiness. Okay, gross national happiness. and that has been measured using like environmental protection, cultural protection. They give more importance or emphasis to happiness. So that's your third point. Fourth point is their population resource ratio. Their population resource ratio is relatively optimum. See, nothing can be optimum in this world, but they have relatively less number of population, so their population resource is less. I mean, it is relatively optimum. So optimum population. The ecological footprint due to this optimum population should be very low. So they have high human development. In the sense that these countries have achieved the basic amenities given to the people have been achieved for so long. Okay, due to this optimum population. Their social capital is strong. Population as a social capital is part of your syllabus in population geography. The social capital is nothing but the bonding and bridge capital. The bond capital or bonding capital and the bridging capital, which is very high. Sorry for my handwriting. I will definitely improve it in my later videos. Sorry. So this is it. So literally you have written everything. See, let me just glance through it from the start to the end. Intro, what is economic development and human development? Here it is. Economic development is improving the quality of life along with the economic growth. Then human development, HDR perspective, Amartya Sen. Then you just have given the diagram and the reasons for the high economic development and high human development, and the reasons for low ED and low HD, and the anomaly. Okay, and you must put a diagram for this also. Okay, you just put a diagram for this also. Okay, these area you have high economic development but low human development, and Bangladesh, Cuba, this area, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan. These area, if you have high human development but less economic development. Okay, and with this you finish the answer. Thank you guys. Hope we will meet with some other question.